Before we move on to the rest of the plot, we need to talk about these defenses because they are pitiful. First of all, what are these wooden barricade walls supposed to do? There are gaps between them, and the Titans just walk around them. They also have these spikes on the ground. I am really unsure what these are meant to do exactly. Are they meant to mildly annoy the Titans? The best defense they have is the nets they use to cover the gate entrance. Now, unfortunately, they don't show us how the Titans get through these because, as we learn later, the Titans weigh very little. So in theory, they shouldn't be able to weigh the nets down and pull them from the supports that secure them at the top of the wall, and the Titans haven't shown much intelligence, so we can assume they didn't pull on the net until it became loose or try to crawl under. Without footage to show how they got through, I'll have to file this as a plot hole. What about these pits? The Titans are dumb, but I am sure they can walk in a straight line. These pits are so shallow that most of them can climb out like this guy's doing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do you have a better idea? Actually, I do. First, the pit must be made deeper and the bridge must be destructible. That way, when the gate is destroyed, there's a protocol to destroy the bridge, guaranteeing any Titan that walks and falls into the pit and can't escape. We know they can do this because of the mining operation they have for lighting crystals. No matter where their society is technologically, anyone can dig a hole. Now that I think about it, why didn't they have any plans for the Colossal showing up again? If you are wondering how they could prepare for the Colossal Titan, it's simple. Dig a massive 50-meter deep hole outside and inside the wall. The Colossal Titan can't kick a hole in the gate if there's nowhere for it to stand. This wouldn't be difficult to achieve either. You can blow up any Titan standing outside the gate, and once they are all dead, you can resume the digging operation. The scouts can still conduct their missions if they build a destructible bridge leading in and out of the walls. That way, the Colossal can't stand on the narrow bridge because the Colossal is too heavy. And with a massive hole inside and outside the wall, on all of these outlier districts, the Titans would never be able to get in. This will also have the added effect of taking away the armored Titan's momentum to charge at the gate from the outside and inside. In conclusion, why should we care about the safety of these characters when they can't even be bothered to care about their own safety and create basic precautions against an attack? I came up with these ideas on the fly, and apparently for the past 5 years, no one in the universe of AOT thought of this, and clearly neither did the author. This is the type of thing that can really take someone out of the story.
You're a disease!
After the Colossal destroys the gate, the Trost district is overtaken by chaos. The drunks at the garrison must step up again and do all the work to defend the walls and evacuate everyone. They set up cannons halfway up the walls and start firing at them. Unfortunately, there are too many of them to fight off, and the cannons are too imprecise to dispatch them. Although it's good to see how they try to fight off the Titans, it raises the question of where they came from suddenly. We know that Titans are drawn to humans. They will walk from the beach where they are created until they reach the walls.
Got a whole bunch to turn this time, so let's get a move on.
No! Please, you can't! You have to stop it! It's Christ! Don't you remember?
So in theory, every Titan in the area should already be standing outside the gate. If the garrison were doing its job, they would be killed. But regardless, we did see there were no Titans standing outside the walls. Now I must ask again, where did these Titans come from? The only plausible answer is that the female Titan drew them in with its ability.
All of a sudden.
But we didn't hear it scream. So we are left with a single conclusion. They stood off-screen away from the cannons, waiting for an opportunity to strike. This is annoying because it's another example of the Titans, who have been characterized as unintelligent and showing little regard for self-preservation, doing something intelligent to create danger and tension in the plot. Overall, if the Titans were drawn to humans, as we are told they are, all Titans in the area should have been standing outside the gate. And if they were, the garrison would and should have killed them. This means that only a few Titans should have arrived after the fall of the Trost Gate. But again, if this happened, the garrison would have been able to handle it, and we wouldn't have any drama. This doesn't just mean they should have been able to hold their defenses for longer. No, this reveals one of the writer's biggest mistakes in the story. Giving the Titans the ability to be drawn to humans and giving the people within the walls cannons basically makes the whole conflict of the show null and void. Every single Titan should be standing outside the wall, ready to be blown to bits. At some point, the writer realized this because they used this tactic later, and another version of it was used in Season 3, where they stand on top of the wall and drop a log on the Titans.
That's it. Jam your big head in here. Oh!
This could be it! We did it!
Although this is a worse method than the cannons, as the Titans must stand in a specific spot and bend over for it to work, they still are able to kill them all and make their way outside the walls. Sadly, this is only one of the biggest plot holes in the show. This means that if the characters acted intelligently, we could have skipped 3 seasons of the show and jumped straight to Season 4 after they saw the ocean. Eren is sent back to headquarters, where he must receive his next orders.
Armin, what's wrong? Huh?
After reuniting with Armin and Mikasa, Mikasa is assigned to the rear guard, and Eren is assigned to the middle guard. Now this is strange for 2 reasons. 1, if Mikasa is assigned to the rear because she is an elite, why isn't Eren? He also passed in the top 5 of his class. 2, why are the elites in the rear guard? We later find out that the veterans were sent to the vanguard, which makes sense. You want the most experienced people to fight the Titans and hold them off while the citizens are being evacuated. You certainly don't want rookies to be needlessly killed when they could help with the evacuation, a relatively more straightforward task they can handle. Basically what I'm saying is, they are wasting their elites in the rear when they would be useful in the middle guard or vanguard where their skills would be of more use. In summary, if the elites are meant to be in the rear and in charge of evacuation, Eren should be there because he is an elite. Remember, he was among the top 5 out of 200 plus cadets who graduated. And if the military had a sound strategy, they would have put all the cadets in the rear guard as a last line of defense regardless. Eren is then assigned to this group with Armin and a bunch of other randos. He motivates everyone and they move out. Ready to fight back for humanity when a flying Titan eats this guy.
We've got an abnormal! Oh, come on!
As we explained in the first video in this series, these Titans are juiced up as hell. This flying Titan is able to calculate this guy's trajectory from several hundred meters away and catch him in midair. We honestly never see anything like this ever again. Anyway, it eats him, and Eren is really upset about this, probably because of their deep friendship that happened off-screen. Anyways, he charges after his nameless friend for revenge when his leg gets eaten.
Get back here! You're gonna pay for killing my friend! You're not getting away! You're not getting away!
As his friends chase after him, they also start getting killed off. This guy is snatched from the sky. Her ODM line is pulled, and she splats on the wall. Armin freezes in shock at all his friends' death, to the point where this Titan can walk up to him and swallow him whole.
What's wrong with me? Why can't I move?
But before it can, using the last of his strength, Eren jumps in and grabs Armin's hand. saving him from the jaws of the hippie titan. As he struggles to release himself from its jaws, Eren Yeager is eaten alive.
The things he told me about. I have to see him. I have to. Eren! No!
All right, let's see how big of a count we can get in terms of everything that is wrong with this sequence. When people grapple with their ODM gear, the line goes forward, not backwards. So this sequence here is literally contrived nonsense from the writer. 90% of the time, when someone gets eaten by a titan, it bites into them. So it's very lucky that the hippie titan tried to swallow him whole instead of what they usually do. Three, it's very unlucky that this titan ate blonde man McGee and walked away instead of going for the rest of Eren's squad. Otherwise, Eren might have killed it and none of this would have happened. 4, very unlucky that this titan ate Eren's leg, but also very lucky it didn't gobble him up whole and kill him instantly. 5, doesn't the garrison have a scouting group? If they posted people along the walls to inform all the squads of the location of the Titans, maybe they wouldn't have been ambushed. In fact, this brings up the question of where was Eren and his squad going? They just started flying towards the vanguard without a formation or clear goal. Were they just hoping to run into the Titans? 6, it's very lucky Eren didn't die or become passed out from this crash and burn. Otherwise, Armin would be dead. 7, luckily, he recovered in time to save Armin. A few seconds later, Armin would have died. 8, lucky Eren was strong enough to hold off the Titan's jaws for that long, because later on it's strong enough to snap its jaws so hard it shatters Eren's arm in half. 9, lucky for Armin, it didn't eat him after it ate Eren. This is probably the worst out of all of the points above. After the hippie titan eats Eren, it just walks away. But why? We see that it has already eaten other people. So we can conclude titans don't act like snakes, who after a meal won't eat and need to rest. So why didn't it eat Armin? Well, the writer told it not to. Even if I was charitable and said it didn't eat Armin because it was full, there are at least 3 other titans here that could have eaten Armin. And remember, titans can sense or smell humans. So after these titans are done eating the squad, they shouldn't have any trouble finding the now shell-shocked Armin Arlid and gobble him up. But they don't because of plot armor. In conclusion, this scene does not work based on cause and effect or action-reaction, but based on bad or good luck given to the characters. Although there's nothing wrong with a universe that runs on luck, let's stop pretending the universe of Attack on Titan runs on cause and effect and logic that can be followed to predict future events. It doesn't. It's based on the whims of Ishiyama cranking up and down the luck as he sees fit. The character's actions don't dictate the events. His hand does. Eren died because he wanted him to. Armin lives because he said so. Anyways, after all of that, something bizarre happens. Attack on Titan becomes good, and no, this is not a joke. The next 3 episodes have some excellent character writing. Now, the plot and world building are still bad, but hey, I'll take what I can get. But before we go into that, we have to do an Eren Yeager review now that he's dead. We'll do these every once in a while to see if a character is well written. So who is Eren Yeager? First, we will look at his goals. He wants to become a scout to fight for his freedom from the oppression of the Titans. He sees his life as that of cattle waiting for slaughter, and extension of this is his desire to see the world outside the walls. After the fall of Shiganshina, he wants to take revenge upon the Titans and kill them all. His first goal is fine, it's clear, and it makes sense that he would want that. I think the only thing that's missing here is where this desire comes from. He idolizes the scouts when everyone else views them as failures. In fact, I would probably say he ought to have distrust of the military, considering the military police is corrupt and the garrison are consistently characterized in lazy drunks. He sees his life as a nightmare, although he lives a relatively safe and happy life with both his parents. and there haven't been any Titan attacks in his life. He and Armin find this book with details about the outside world, like the ocean and volcanoes. This is fine as a way to explain his motivation. I just wish this wasn't the only piece of his motivation that made sense. What about his goal to kill all Titans? In all honesty, this comes across as a coping mechanism for him. If we read the story literally, Eren is coping with trauma with delusions, because there is literally no way for him to achieve such a goal, and nobody questions him about it because they feel bad for him. Now, I wouldn't file this under bad writing, because who could really blame Eren? He watched his whole life collapse right before his eyes, watched his mother get eaten, and he was powerless to do anything about it. Overall, this is cool as a story beat. It gets a thumbs up from me. What about his characteristics? In order, Eren is characterized as lazy and undisciplined. While Mikasa is collecting firewood, he is taking a nap under a tree. By the time they go back home, he has less firewood than her. He also stops to chat with the garrison and watch the scouts return instead of going straight home to complete his work. Self-conscious. After waking up from his nap, tears are rolling down his face, and he asks Mikasa to keep it a secret. I suppose he thinks he has a reputation to uphold around town. Hot-headed and emotional, Eren is quick to anger. Let's rapid-fire some examples. When he sees the garrison are lazy, he gets upset and screams at them. When Mikasa snitches on him, he gets angry at her and his mom for screaming at him. When Jean challenges him, he gets upset enough to fight him. Although he is very emotional after his mother's death, I won't mention this because this response is only natural. When Blonde Man McGee dies, he throws caution to the wind to save him. Delusional. Eren overestimates his fighting abilities when Armin is getting bullied. He assumes they run away because of him, although it is Mikasa they are fleeing from. After the fall of Shiganshina, he has goals to return home, even though it's crawling with Titans. Although he had no power to do this, he swears to kill all the Titans. After becoming a scout, for no reason at all, he thinks the people within the walls have an advantage against the Titans. Now that's a pretty convincing argument that he's delusional, but certain things he does fly in the face of this theory. For example, as a child, Eren single-handedly killed 2 men, and just this episode, the colossal Titan had to skedaddle away from him because he was about to kill it. Was he actually delusional? As delusional as a UFC fighter, in my opinion, he talks a lot of nonsense, but sometimes he gets his shit together and performs. Speaks his mind. He shares his disapproval of the laziness of the garrison to their faces. He shares his goal of becoming a scout with Mikasa. He tells off this garrison guy for being a bully, even though it gets him hurt. He shares his goal of becoming a scout with all the cadets every chance he gets. Cares for his friend's safety. This one is a little bit messy because of the specificity of it. When Armin's grandpa or uncle dies, he doesn't console him. Instead, he takes it as an opportunity to make it about himself. After his mom dies, it's only his sadness that matters. He never comforts Mikasa, who also lost her new home and adoptive mother. When Mikasa decides to join the scouts because of him, he doesn't even consider becoming an MP to keep her safe. Although, when you consider his goal to fight the Titans, it does kind of make sense. His behavior makes sense. To him, having another soldier in the scouts, in Mikasa, is more important than her life. Who gives a shit about Armin's granduncle when he has decided to join the military and take his next step to becoming a scout? This is why, given his quick temper and impulsiveness, he rushes to avenge Blonde Man McGee. I didn't expect to come to this conclusion, but Eren is well written. His actions are consistent with his values. However, Eren's laziness conflicts with his achievement of the top 5 position. Remember that Connie, who is said to be dumb, was also in the top 10, so clearly, even idiots can do this. But that's not everything that goes into characterization. We also have to look at relatability and likability. I'm not going to mince words on this one. Eren Yeager is annoying. His righteous speeches do not endear him to me. His contrast in repeating his goals is annoying. He's like one of those political YouTubers who make everything about politics and preach to you about how their side is more righteous. And the fact that we never see his rise from being a mediocre cadet to making it to the top 5 graduates was a missed opportunity. We never even learn what that achievement means to him, because as they are celebrating, he is already talking about the scouts again. It's almost like the writer thinks we'll forget about Eren's goal.